YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis hanging out with you. We'll get into the a little bit more in the coordinators things. Let's update people. So Jim Leonard's out. This will be the second consecutive day of interviewing Vance Joseph. It's being done via Zoom. It was a 4.5-hour session yesterday. He will interview again today with the Birds, according to multiple reports. They've interviewed Chris Shula, who coached with Sirianni with the Chargers 2015 and 16 seasons. Jesse Minter, who was the defensive coordinator with Michigan. If that name sounds familiar, his father, Rick, was the Eagles linebacker coach with Chip Kelly 2013 through 15. So it is a familiar name. He's coached both in the pros and at the college level. So that's kind of where things are. Gunnar, you posed an interesting question to us prior to the show today in our show meeting. And basically, the gist of it was, would you give Jalen Hurts a Patrick Mahomes deal, a 10-year, $505 million? Would you do that? And look, my answer is yes, I would. Here's why I would do it. I think he's that good, and I think he's getting better. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. There's one Patrick Mahomes in this world. But in terms of the upper echelon quarterbacks, with the prices continuing to climb, I think he's that good. I think he's going to get that much better. I think he's a leader who's not going to flake and just hey, I already got paid. I think he is that guy. The only thing I would worry about is injury, but then again, I could apply it to any player. So yeah, I would do it. And that Mahomes deal was a great deal for Kansas City. Even if you look at the back end of it, the years, some of the years aren't even guaranteed. I think it's pretty reasonable. So I would, I'll answer first. I absolutely would do it.
Especially when you look at how the deal is looking now. You know, at this point, he's making $45 million a year. Now that's cheap compared to, A-Rod is making, Aaron Rodgers is making $52 million a year. You know what I mean? So at first it looked like, wow, that's a lot of money. But if you look at it now, the way that contract is divvied up over the next couple of years, it's a team-friendly deal. Will they do that type of deal here? I don't think they necessarily want that amount of years, especially the type of quarterback that Jalen Hurts is. Yes, Jalen Hurts takes care of himself, but there's still, he missed 2 games this year. And I think they're going to want less years. But in order to get less years, they've got to guarantee more money. Mm-hmm. What's going to be the guaranteed money, number one? What's going to be the number of years, number two? It's really what they're talking about at this very moment.
Derek?
When you work with somebody and get to know somebody on a personal basis long enough, you start thinking like each other. And unfortunately, I have to agree with Mr. Brooks. He said exactly what I'm thinking. I wouldn't give a 10-year contract, a solid 4 or 5 year contract, yes. But 10 years, his style of play, and it's exactly what I'm thinking. Because of his style of play, as phenomenal as Jalen is now, if he keeps playing that style of play, how available will he be on a big contract 2, 3, 4 years from now?
Yeah.
We've seen this with too many quarterbacks. It cost Robert Griffin his career. Lamar Jackson missed how many games this past season? This dude was like
Houdini. Past 2 seasons.
Okay, so he was like Houdini. 2019, the dude won the league MVP. He only threw for over 3,100 something yards, but because he ran for over 1,200 yards as well. Never seen before, never done before. His second year in the league. What has he done since? What has he been since? Okay, his style of play, as great as it is, and I love to watch it, he's always more susceptible to being injured.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what Barrett said. Okay, this young man in his second year as a starter missed 2 games. Next year, how many could he miss? And I'm not saying he will. He may get through the whole season, but he puts his body on the line because that's his style of play more so than Patrick Mahomes runs to extend plays. You're never going to see Patrick Mahomes run for close to 1,000 yards. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. You look at some of the other quarterbacks, they're either pocket passers, and even Russell Wilson in his heyday. Russell Wilson did all that scrambling and pirouetting, took by time until somebody freed open, and all of a sudden we were sitting there going, wow, He extended the play 10 seconds and picked up 30 yards on a pass play because defenses don't know where he's going. Okay. Jalen Hurts is a different kind of quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a phenomenal athlete. But these dudes are looking to take shots at quarterbacks nowadays every chance they get because of the way the game has been transitioned to protect the signature player on a team, which is your quarterback. You think defensive players aren't pissed off about how they basically say, you know, the defenses are being disrespected.
Yep.
Making it harder for us to play our style of game. But you know what? We're going to find a way. So every chance they get to get a good shot on the quarterback, prime example, look at that game against the 49ers, that one series, Jalen ran the ball like 3 times in one series, and I'm sitting there going, what are they doing? He gets tackled, turned his back, took a blow to the back, got up slow. That's coming more often. That's going to come more often. The older you get, what does it bear? The longer it takes you to heal.
Yep. And remember, you know, Seth, you know, everybody's talking about Seth. Seth's their favorite mantra that Buddy used to, you know, and Bud Carson used to tell them is, hey, we want to see how good your backup quarterback is. That's what that's their thing. We want to know how good your backup quarterback is.
Right. Exactly.
We're gonna take out your first string. We want to see how good your backup
right.
is.
There's some things you can't avoid, but there's others that you can.
Right.
So whoever takes over as the offensive coordinator, you don't need to dial up so many RPOs. You don't need to dial up so many designed, if there are designed runs.
Yep.
You could scale this thing back. I'm not saying you take away one of the great weapons that he has, but there's ways to be smarter about it. You know, I thought they were overrunning him in that Chicago game when he got hurt. So he doesn't need 17 rushes. You want to get him down to 7 rushes per game, something like that. He's developed enough as a passer where he can be unbelievably successful throwing it, you know, 20 times and whatever, it depends on the game, but 20 some odd times and running it 7 times. You could 100% do that.
No question about it. You know, I want my quarterback upright and breathing more times than not.
Yeah.
You know?
So the coaches can help him there. It doesn't just have to be, it's not just, there's always going to be a risk with a guy who has the ball in his hands as much.
Absolutely.
As he does, but there's ways to mitigate that risk and make it a lot less.
And I hate to say this because you don't want to diminish players, period. But if there's one player you want on that field come hell or high water, it's your franchise quarterback.
I don't know.
If there's one player, and you look at these dudes that run the ball, these quarterbacks, 13, 15, 17 times, as much as we're electrified by it and spellbound by it, there's a price to pay with it, you know. And you're right, it's football. You get injured standing in the pocket. Dudes, I mean, they look at Patrick Mahomes, got his ankle rolled up on, he was in the pocket. You know, things happen. It's true. But the bottom line is, if I'm paying a quarterback the most money, I want to get the return on my value for 17 games, not 13 games, not 12 games, not 14 games. You know,
you're right, man. It's tough, man. You look at Jalen, and what makes Jalen a very, very good quarterback for this team is because how dominant his offensive line is, number one. But number two, his ability to cross both styles of play.
Yeah.
If you ask him to drop back 40 times a game, he could do that. If you ask him to run 20 times a game, he can do that. And that's what makes him the new upcoming quarterback. That style of play is what the NFL is starting to transition to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the days of guys just dropping back passing are they're not as prevalent these days. But you have athletes back there that can do both now, and he's become what you want in a quarterback. So, I mean, I can see him going forward. But right now, we're talking about this because it's time for him to get paid.
Yes, sir.
And I think that he should be paid like a top 5 quarterback because he is a top 5 quarterback. Yeah. On the field, it's hard not to see how good he is. You know what I'm saying? No,
I agree. What's better?
Your boy T for Tuna, man. You got to put the clamps on him, man. Barrett, you got to put the clamps on T for Tuna. Come on, man. You got to clamp down on Tuna, man. He's out his mind, dude.
Oh, hey, well, we just locked in a fishing trip, man. Like,
There you go.
Did you?
Yeah,
I
well,
wouldn't invite it.
The gun. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about right there. I just invited you. He told me to invite the both of you to Atlantic City Boat Show.
That ain't a fishing
Schooner
trip,
Island. I'm just saying. I'll get to it. Schooner Island Marina, our marina. They have a booth up there. Go up there, check it out. They sell pontoons. They sell all the newer boats. Like they have their boats up there. They tend to be hardcore fishing boats. They got those up there, like anywhere from 28 to 23 foot. They specialize in the pontoon boats. The performance pontoon boats. They sell those there. I mean, it's a great place to go up there and just check out all the boats. I went up there and I saw the new diesel. They got a new diesel up there that's like 700 horsepower, 500 or 600 horsepower, man. I mean, you can see everything while you're up there. But he sent out an invitation for both of you. Mm-hmm. He would give you both tickets to go to the boat show.
I appreciate it.
Nice he is.
I'm working both days, but thank you. Thank you. No, I'm just saying. Thanks. I do appreciate. I would check. I think that's cool. I would check it out. I appreciate that.
When I was coming up as a kid, they would always have the boat show come to my hometown, Milwaukee. It would be packed, and they had this man-made stream, and you could trout fish in it.
Oh, get out!
Yeah, and and dudes would be like elbow to elbow.
That's cool.
They provide all the rods and reels and stuff, and every trout that you catch, they would charge you like a couple of bucks per fish. But dude, it was just a great time to go down with my dad and walk around, see all the new rods and reels and boats and all that stuff, man. And I know a lot of boat shows. Harrisburg, I think, has a boat show, big boat show every year for hunting and fishing. I don't know if anybody does the trout streams anymore, but it is if you're an outdoorsman, boats, kayaks, rods, reels, hunting gear, it's a great time just to take, spend a day with your kids and stuff like that, get them acclimated and excited about being, more involved in the outdoors and appreciating the outdoors, stuff like that. I would imagine this one, Barrett, is geared towards more ocean stuff.
Yes, this is a lot of ocean stuff because it's in Atlantic City. When they do the Philadelphia, when the Philadelphia boat show comes, it's a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stream,
lakes, ponds,
lakes, ponds, and stuff like that. So, but they're trying to personalize. Like you go down south when they have it in down in Florida. Yeah. It's more, ocean and
stuff. Yep.
Yeah, but it's a great boat show. Don't go up there unless you want to get stuck by the. It's like you catch a bug when you're up there, when you're around those boats, man. You can't help but get into that type of mindset and you become a fisherman, bro.
That's awesome.
We gotta get back. We gotta get Rob in the fishing, man.
I'm gonna do it. When everything calms down, I'll be
right.
Once you get some nice weather, we'll do it. We'll make it happen for sure. I'm gonna take it a day. I'll take it a day.
I think you would have fun. I think you would have fun just us hanging out, man.
That's what I would enjoy the most.
With Captain Tuna.
Yes.
Yep.
And then come back on show on a Monday and embellish everything that we did.
Oh, that 2-foot fish would turn up being 10 foot long.
Yes. That's part of the fun.
Rob flipped over the rail, a wave hit the boat, Rob flipped over, we caught him by a shoestring.
It was like a Jaws scenario.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
The only thing is, I don't know if you've gone on boats a lot, Rob. The only thing is, man, if you get seasick, and by the grace of God, I have never been seasick in my life. Matter of fact, until we did that trip last summer with Barrett for his birthday, I had never taken a Dramamine, before. Yeah. But I don't know why I did. I didn't get sick, but I took it. My son-in-law talked me into doing it, buying this Dramamine.
It was good because nobody else, like everybody in my family, it was like a mash unit inside the
man.
On the inside of it, everybody was throwing up. Even my puppy, little puppy Yoki. They started calling Yoki Yaki because she was yakking up. She was throwing up. Yes, you did, man. You did that. You and Tony did that, man. Look at Yaki over there. I'm like, come on, guys.
I get blamed for everything.
She was throwing up. She had threw up so much. Look, my little baby poodle, man. She only like 6 pounds. She was throwing up so much that she had like a long line of spit, falling from her ear right there, and they didn't do another laughing.
Looked like somebody dunked her head in the ocean.
See, Tony and Derek just laugh. I'm like, why are y'all laughing at my dog? She is looking so I mean, she looked disheveled, like, you know, it looked like she was a back alley dog or something. I mean, like she just hit it hard or something. You know what I mean? Like
Oh my God.
she was drunk. I mean, it was bad, man. They laughed at my dog, man.
Yeah,
Them type of guys, man.
I'm looking forward to getting out there with Rob one day, man. Just to chill and talk smack on a nice warm day.
Yes.
Within a 5-mile radius. I emphasize 5-mile radius.
Yeah, we don't need to go out that far. Fish are everywhere.
You know, Barrett, I'm gonna tell you right now what's gonna happen, Rob. I'm gonna tell you sure. He'll say, Degon, I promise you we won't go 5 miles. Next thing you know, we out 27 miles. And once you get me on the boat, he know he got me. So I don't trust anything Barrett says, man. I ain't trusting it. He'll take
me way back, Derek.
Huh?
We go way back, Derek. We go way
back. I know, but we also like to get at each other every time we get a chance.
You're right. But
see,
you will love it. You will love it though. Seriously.
I'm gonna suck it up, but Rob, we gotta get you out there.
All right.
Man.
I'm done. Mark it down. I'm in. All right. Let me ask you this. You talk about Jalen Hurts, the contract, you know, you would give him. So just to look at his season, he had played 15 games, 3,700 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks, 66.5 passer rating or completion percentage, 101.6 passer rating, 760 rushing yards, 13 TDs. Postseason, 3 games, 579 yards passing, 66.7 completion percentage, 193 passing yards per game. Keep in mind the first 2 games, we ran it 88 times. You didn't really need him to throw a ton. But 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, did have a big fumble, rushed 143 times, 4.1 yards per carry, and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Spectacular in the Super Bowl, other than the one mistake. What does he need to improve upon in your estimation? What does he need to get better at going into the 23 season?
Absolutely nothing. Now, we say that on the surface, on the outside looking in, because we saw him have a phenomenal season. I guarantee you there's things that he's looking at on film saying he can get better at this, whether it's delivery, whether it's mechanics, the throwing motion, maybe reading defense a little better. Not saying he read the defense bad at all, because he counted everything defenses threw at him. But to be 24 years old, I think his game right now will put the fear of God in the defenses just the way he plays it right now. Mm-hmm. In 1 year, he has silenced everybody in terms of what he needed to do to get better as a professional quarterback. So on the outside looking in, because I'm sure I'm missing certain intricacies of what it takes to play at a little bit higher level, from my perspective, nothing.
How about you, Barrett?
It's not necessarily improving anything. It's more so stay in the same direction and just get better at doing what you're already doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could be a little more patient at times, you know what I'm saying, before he scrambles. And saying that, you know what I'm saying, him understanding that both he and Kelsey have to be on the same page so we can pick up, like in the Super Bowl, I didn't think that him and Kelsey were on the same page in the second half.
Okay.
With the blitz package. For the entirety of the year, those two were harmonious in how they called the defense, where they were at. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would turn around, they would do things like, all right, they see the blitzes coming from the right, but the protection is such that where the tight end is and everything, that it's supposed to go to the left. But both him and Kelsey were like, all right, we know they're not blitzing from the left, so let's kick the protection over to the right and call the play that, better for the right side instead of the left side where the blitz, where the blitz wasn't coming. Those are things that they did, and they just weren't on the same page. So getting on the same page with whoever's going to be a center, whether it's Cam or whether it's Jason, and continue that progression of making sure that they go forward and understanding what teams are going to try to do to them and get better at defending those type of things.
I think I'd still like to see him get better rolling to his left. I know that's a hard thing to do when it's against your body, but I think he's gotten better, but it's still not 100% there.
Still a little twerky a little bit.
Yeah. So I like
uncomfortable looking.
Yeah, that a little bit. I think he could still be quicker on his reads. Look, I know I'm nitpicking here. He was phenomenal. So I'm not like, this is not like, oh my God, he's got to change that. No, I mean, if you're asking me little tweaks that he's got to get better at, I would say those 2 things would be one of them. And maybe not being as quick to take off. Like, he's so effective with his legs and so good. I know it's an unbelievable temptation to just tuck it because you're so good and strong and athletic. But I'd rather you sit in the pocket and make a throw, preferably because you're either likely to get more yards or there's less of a chance of you getting hurt, possibly. So that's all for me. I mean, everything else is there. He got way better at that. I can only imagine what leap he's going to take this year because he took such a big leap last season. And he's so dialed in. He's such a hard worker. It's a great advantage, man. He's not going to be one of those guys who gets a big contract and is worried about what kind of car he's driving and the lifestyle and all that. That's just not who Jalen Hurts is. And he's coachable. I think if it is Brian Johnson, which we all believe, it's not like he's going to all of a sudden once again have to start in a new system. Remember we talked about that a lot. He hadn't been in the same system since high school. Alabama changed coordinators. He transferred to Oklahoma. He got to the Eagles. It was Doug, then it wasn't Doug, and Nick, and blah blah blah. If it's Brian Johnson, it's a pretty seamless transition. He'll put his own twists on things, but it's not like Jalen's got to learn a whole new system. So I think that helps him. And I think it makes him that much better, man. I really believe that.
Plus, what is the value also of him, not just as an athlete, but as fitting the criteria of what the organization wants in terms of the face of their franchise? As we know, Jalen Hurts right now, he fits the criteria of not just a phenomenal young athlete, but the consummate locker room guy. Everybody respects him. He's not going to make waves. You won't hear about him getting in any kind of trouble, at least as far as we know of, stuff like that. There's also a value for that in terms of how much he gets monetarily also, basically Carson Wentz pulled the wool over their eyes until he got his big contract. Then he lost his doggone mind,
like Jalen's genuine.
He's genuine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that goes into the equation as well when you start to sit down for the contract. Everything that you've asked a face of your franchise to be up to this point, coupled with the fact that I was the runner-up my second year as a starter for the league MVP honor and could very easily have won it had I not missed 2 games.
No doubt.
Now, I still say if he had missed those 2 games, they were going to give it to Patrick Mahomes.
You look at it now, I believe you there. I think so too. I think it would have been maybe a little tighter.
Yes, I think it would have been a lot tighter.
Yeah, Mahomes still would have won it, but I agree with you. But I mean, let's think about this. Okay, you lost out to Patrick Mahomes, man.
Thank you.
So it's a remarkable growth from year 2 to year 3.
I'm looking at the stream. The stream's saying some good stuff. As far as better play calling for him, that's also something that that they could have done. Like this last game, a couple of them are saying things the right way. There weren't a lot of hot reads being executed I'm sure there were hot reads, but they weren't being executed.
Recognizing blitzes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were forcing them to his left. They would bring the blitz on the right. Yeah. And force them out and making them go left. And I mean, that's smart, that's sport by Spags. Spags said, all right, then if he's going to beat us, he's going to beat us doing what we want him to do. He's not going to beat us doing what he wants to do. Right. And we should have had more hot routes for him to throw to that were instant as opposed to still trying to keep pushing the ball down the field. When you see the blitz coming, run a slant on that side. Throw behind the blitz. You throw behind the blitz, man, you bump your head on the goalpost because if you're bringing a blitz, you're vacating an area. If you're vacating the area, if you get one guy to miss a tackle, then you get chunk yardage, man. And I think that's where we kind of got out finessed. By Spags and the defense.
No, I hear you. And look, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's incumbent upon the play calling to take the ball out of his hands sometimes in terms of the options to run, which it's interesting. Some folks in the stream hear what they want to hear, even though that was pointed out earlier that it's ultimately on the coaches, not blaming Jalen for running so much, but that's okay. All right. So let's
hold up, Rob, real quick before you go to break. I got an answer to. We were talking about why is Vance Joseph doing Zoom interviews?
Yeah, I'd be curious.
And the response was most of the interviews they're doing now with this particular case are Zoom. Number one, because the building is being shut down. The building is shut down for the week. Everybody's off this week. After a long season. Everybody's off. Number two, if they identify, here's how you'll know who's the serious candidates for this job because they can't. You can't keep anything quiet in today's society. Right. When they bring somebody in for dinner, that's when you know who the serious candidate or candidates are.
Okay.
Seriously,
Also-
I'm just telling you.
No. Yeah.
Also,
I'm giving
guys,
you tidbits, baby.
That's awesome, man.
Vance is also in Denver, and he's also a candidate for the
there.
Denver job.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in Denver right now. So
Right
so,
on, Barrett.
so basically, Eagles have been doing most of their interviews by Zoom.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. That's good to know. Let's see that you're not, I'm not even being facetious here. That you don't get information like that anywhere else. That is inside information from a true reporter. And you get the same thing from Barrett, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Good work out of you guys. All right.
they're stuck on Seth. Take Seth to dinner.
Oh my God. You're still on Seth, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get a quickie in here and we'll look at Eagles players that are on the roster now that need to step up. A la Jordan Davis, a la Nakobe Dean. There's other guys too.
Or should we let guys go? Do we need to go out and get another third receiver?
Okay.
Is Quez necessarily that guy? I don't think so. We'll talk about that.
All right, we'll get into it. All right, don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right now, I'm going to tell you about Pro Action Restoration. Yeah, Pro Action Restoration is the place that you call, that you reach out to if your business or your home or a property you may have owned has gone through the pain and the inconvenience of water, smoke, mold damage, you name it, they can handle it. Pro Action is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I know I've gone through it personally in my family, and I reached out to them on a Saturday, and Pro Action Restoration was right there, man. And the crew was professional. They were clean. Price was reasonable. And most importantly, they fixed the problem. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured, and they've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So look, it's any of the above: water, fire, smoke, mold remediation, but it could be something else you're not really sure about. Give them a call. They're there for a consultation as well. 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com.